Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kyra here with another Awaken KSR video, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down easily the most free-to-play friendly version of a Ash 12 100% auto team. So what we got here is a Santis, Nathalia, Mary, and Ice Wolf. Ice Wolf is a common. Totally, most people don't even look at the commons in this game, and it's an amazing team. We're going to get into it here in a moment. Before we get into the video, though, I do want to shout out a couple things. A lot of this information is going to be found in links down below, and then also my Discord, because I have this easy to follow way of being able to do this. Here, I made this OneNote page where I'm going to be accruing as much information as possible on specific builds, and currently got a few of them here. One for this build, one for another. We're going to be covering the free-to-play version of this build here, but in future videos, I want to have more and more options to be able to beat this based on the heroes you guys end up pulling in this game. So be sure to join the Discord. All of this will be found on my personal Discord in the Awaken KSR section, and then I'm going to be slowly building this up because I want to have as many out of these 10 out of 10s right here. See this 10 out of 10 certified? I want as many of these as possible. We got this in the ice comp. I tested it myself. CV Gaming was the original person that made this comp, so shout out to him. Definitely check out his channel. He was the original person that made this free-to-play comp. And this will be linked here. His channel is also linked in the description and also on this page. If you guys have any other builds, I'm talking like right now we're talking just Nathalia only, but I mean in general all of these, because I have ways of being able to beat this without Nathalia, but I want as many possible comps as possible because we're never guaranteed on which characters we can build in this game. So I'm just trying to build as many possible resources as we can and make them in an easy to follow way. And what I ended up doing here, so all of these are in the correct speed order when it comes to these characters here. So if you look at this, you got Ice Wolf, you got Nathalia, or you got Ice Wolf, you got Santis, you got Mary, and then you got Nathalia. All of these are in the right order. We'll talk about this here later on in the video as well, but I just wanted to kind of break this down and use this as a helpful resource for you guys. Also, another really good resource is going to be the official Discord. There's sections there and they have pinned comments you can look at. They also have really good places, or a lot of good resources for you guys as well. So just trying to give you guys as many possible tools in your tool belt to be able to actually beat this. I just thought this was a nice way to visualize it because I was able to take his comp. It took all the screenshots of exactly what he used, and then I just had this on the side, and then I had the game open and I was able to just compare it really easily, and it was super quick to be able to get my comp going, and because it was just right there. I didn't have to keep checking it, didn't have to keep referencing anything. I can just open this up and know exactly what I'm trying to do. With all that being said, let's get into the video. First of all, normally in these games, that when you have a team, there's a couple things that you're trying to do. You're trying to get fast runs, trying to get reliable runs, and you're trying to do it as free to play as possible. And this one doesn't compromise on a lot of those things. Normally there is some kind of compromise, whether it be it's super reliable and super fast but super expensive, like you got to get all these lucky pulls, or you compromise on speed but then it's super free to play friendly. It's usually that trifecta there. Ideally you want all three of those things. This one nails a lot of those because it is super free to play friendly, except for the A5 Santis. That's the one drawback. But other than that, especially if you started on launch, you got Nathalia for free. Ice Wolf super easy to get. Mary super easy to get, just a rare. And Santis is the only hard part. So it's super free to play friendly, super fast. It's faster than a lot of the teams that I use at about 1 minute 30 second runs, and it's super reliable. So it's great. It covers a lot of those things that you're looking for in a team for running dungeons as many times as possible to get the gear. You use the spells. This is one thing to keep in mind. You have Sundering Purgatory and Last Breath. The important thing here is that you follow the speed order. So what I ended up doing is I got this sheet here that I think will make it very easy to follow. Or what I did is I got all the stats, and I got these for all the runs here that I'm going to be covering in this video. But I got in the top here, I explained things that you don't see in the stats. So I ordered everything in terms of turn order. So all these pictures are all in the correct turn order. I made sure to do that so you're not bouncing around making sure that which character goes before the other, because the turn order is incredibly important, especially for this comp here. So you need to have Ice Wolf go first. You need Santis, then Mary, then Nathalia. Key thing to keep in mind is Nathalia needs to go slower than the boss. And I'll explain why in a second, but mainly it comes to the reviving of the Ice Wolf so then he can actually survive. If she goes before, the Ice Wolf's not going to die and she's not going to revive him. So that's the main thing there. But Ice Wolf is essentially no glyphs, essentially no gear. The only thing that matters gear-wise is that he's faster. So if you notice here on this build, 152, because 152 is faster than everyone else. Whereas if you look at my build, 195. Only reason why is because I had the gear previously in Santis. I didn't want to move her gear around. That's the only thing that matters with him. If you look at him, you actually want him to be paper because you want him to die. And then he gets revived by the thing. By the summoner spell, and then he can do another counterattack. And then Santis needs to be A5 to make it more reliable in a curse set, and then you turn the ultimate off. That's one thing to keep in mind. And then also you want her in a cursed set to make it more reliable, especially with the A5. And then Mary is just essentially all that matters is that she is tanky enough to survive, which is really easy to do. If you look at his stats, it's super easy to get 900 defense and 10k health. And then 148 speed was just there. It just needs to be over 140, but the third slowest on the team. And then lastly, Nathalia, no shield set. You specifically don't want her in a shield set because of the timing on how she uses her moves, which is nice because in the beginning of the game, it's hard to do that. Also, you want her slow, which is also nice because for these to work, you need her A2, but A3 is tough to get. And that's the one with 15 extra speed. So if you're struggling on speed, this is a great comp for you because you're not going to need that extra A3 or Ascension 3 to get that 15 speed on there. You want her slow, which is, especially when you're really struggling on gear, that's great. So it's a really good build and it's really reliable. I've never failed with this. All I had to do was just cover those speeds, and then I should say the damage wise on Nathalia, that's the hard part, is getting a good enough damage. She just needs to be able to one-shot the waves, which is really not that hard, especially with her buff to her ultimate. If anything, it might have made this comp a little easier, but I did it multiple times. So I've ran it with 3600 attack and 278% crit damage, and of course you want 100% crit rate. That might be hard to get. I don't think you need it that far. I ended up changing the gear. It's just hard for me to be able to get this gear. Not trying to flex here. It's just reality of my gear situation that it's hard for me to get this and stay slow. So I want to be able to drop this lower, but I did 3,900 attack and 257% crit damage and was still able to do it. I would love to be able to just drop this as low as possible and see what the absolute bare minimum is, but I just don't know it. I have no idea what that is. If anyone can keep testing this, it'd be fantastic so we could get the bar minimum threshold to be able to get this team. And then he was able to do it with 3,900 attack and 272% crit damage. So I'm sure that there's a lower threshold here, but I don't know it. If anyone knows it, let us know down in the comments below and I'll definitely update this sheet here. But that's what I was able to do. This is a great comp to be able to do this as affordably as possible. He even said in the comments that he's ran it like 4,000 times after the change to Ash with the being able to target the person. And that's another thing that's cool about this. It doesn't matter who the bomb targets. It's going to work every time. And it's super easy to make and super easy to just follow along and get the turn order right. And then you're totally set. It's an amazing comp, super free to play friendly, super reliable and fast. So I absolutely love this comp. And then the cool thing too about Santis, if you're not familiar, is I don't feel bad recommending an A5 with her because she is fusible. Even though it does take a ton of rares to ever get to this point where you can fuse her and then especially get her to A5, but definitely save your Ascensions for Nathalia and for Santis because all these characters are super usable in other parts of content too. It's not just Ash. Santis is in the Water team or the Queen of Tides team. Mary you're going to be using in Void Tower a ton. Santis I use in Void Tower, like really hard version of Void Tower. Nathalia is easily one of the better AoE damage dealers, if not the best AoE damage dealer in the entire game. And then White Wolf, if you need anything else for counterattacking, I mean, he's totally fine, but ideally you would have like William and other parts of content that needs him to actually be tankier. But amazing comp. I've run this 10 out of 10 times, and so I feel like that's good enough on the reliability. I know it's not like fully confirms it 100%, but 10 out of 10 is pretty solid. And then we got the AoE. Turn order is super matters here. Luckily, you can go slower but still go faster than these minions here. Big thing here is just having enough damage to be able to AoE those guys. And then we get the counterattack off the start. She auto attacks. She just does a normal auto attack there. But watch what happens here. So White Wolf's gonna die. This right here is the reason why that we have Nathalia go after the boss. Because after the boss, she goes. Everyone counterattacks first, obviously. Then her passive procs. She revives White Wolf. Then she kills the rest of these guys. But then here's what happens. Now White Wolf gets to go and immediately does another counterattack. So boom, another counterattack up. So you get 2 counterattacks back to back. She cleanses the passive there. He hurts himself because when he does this right here, he has minions up. So when he has minions up, he's going to do the thing that gives him like 1000% extra damage. But he hurts himself in the process. That also helps with being able to kill him faster. So then now we're invincible. So we take this damage here. Counterattacks go down. Does a little bit more damage. Counterattack, get a poison up. She just, her damage doesn't really matter. And then when you have one of those, that doesn't matter either. Defense down. Not really relevant. Double poison. Gives the bonus turn. So then she can hit twice here. And then we still have poisons to go. So even if she's not going to kill him here, which she does, doesn't matter. Game over. And very reliable, very good comp. But that's the reason why the turn order is so important, because of the timings for Mary, the timings on Ice Wolf, and also the timings for the buffs to work well with Nathalia. So just follow along with exactly what we got here. It'll totally work. The thing you got to dial in, though, is if you're really trying to, this is one of your first builds you're making, is the damage. That's what matters, is the damage on Nathalia. And then what I would do is just always set yourself to always have 100% crit rate, and then slowly build up your attack and crit damage as far as you can, and see when it works. And then if you can't, the speed timings are the same for 11. So just keep running 11 until you get to this point where you can actually run that, and when you have more crit damage or more attack to actually be able to do it. Okay, guys, well, that's going to do it for this video here. All the resources will be linked down in the description and also on my Discord. So be sure to check out both of those if you're looking for these particular links. Another helpful resource is going to be the official Discord, so check out that. There's a ton of guides already posted there in the pinned comment section of a lot of the specific dungeon guides there as well. If you guys found this video helpful, please like the video. It really goes a long way in supporting the channel. Subscribe to the channel for more Awaken Chaos Era content. And then lastly, a lot of people ask me which emulator I use, and the current emulator I'm using to be able to play this on computer is LD Player, so link down in the description for that as well. It's completely free. Be sure to download that if you're wanting to play this game on computer. All right, guys, and with that, I am out of here. Peace.